Janice Learmond-Criqui.
Yes, it's Thursday night, November 30th, 2017, and welcome to the Frontline. Janice?
I would like to start off tonight's discussion by mentioning to you all about a question that someone asked me the other day. And that question is, what is the Progressive Empowerment Party's mission? Do you know what that is? Okay, let me just give you a quick rundown on it. The mission of the party is to create a nation where none of our people can be left behind, where leadership is built on service, and where the dysfunctional organs, organizations, and offices of state are undone and redone to the highest of principles and world standards in the service of all, in a free and just society dedicated to the highest of democratic principles. That is our mission. That is something for us to aspire to as a nation. Tonight we are going to talk about housing, and our designated Minister of Sport, Kerry Grant, he is going to tie it back to sports and education for us. But before we start, it is important to advise our viewers, which is you, of what the party's housing policy is. Again, are you aware of our housing policy? The party feels that it is the right of every citizen in Trinidad and Tobago to have access to affordable housing, with emphasis on prioritizing low-income earners and all first-time house owners on a no down payment and zero interest basis. Are you aware of that? That is our policy. The other day I heard someone talking on the radio about the current housing initiative, and the gentleman was lamenting about the fact that when he went and inquired about the financing, he was told it's 5% interest on the mortgage. Now, how is that going to help him if he's a low-income earner? This is why the party's stance is no down payment, zero interest. That is our position.
Yes, it is the PP's position. And at the end of the day, it's really about giving the populations, like Philip says, a piece of the pie.
Yes.
Giving, because how I look at it is this. A man feels more of a man, knowing that he has keys to his own home.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, when you're renting, you have to understand that if you choose to leave, there's nothing you gain from that.
Correct.
All right? Now, empowerment of the people is a key factor. That is one of the key elements of the healing the nation needs, because at the end of the day, if a man has nothing, what's stopping him from going on the block and selling the drugs? What's stopping him from looking to kidnap and to make a robbery and to do these things? Do you understand? I mean, really and truly, the country needs spending power. We need to create the environment of community again. We need people to feel proud and to know. I mean, I think that a husband and wife would work harder with the relationship, knowing that, again, we married, we have a home, we have a little child. It's about trying to ensure, we keep the family unit secure. But when you're renting and you have to look for that rent at the end of the month, and you know that, you get evicted, there's nothing you're going to get, you're frustrated. That creates even greater frustration in a mental sense within the home. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The children are affected, the both husband and wife is affected. It's just a host of problems that we're dealing with. And at the end of the day, look, Trinidad and Tobago, PP is dissecting everything, and we're trying to identify all of the issues that we're dealing with as a nation, holistically, across the board. And we're talking in every area whether you talk healthcare, whether you talk security, whether you talk education, and again, home ownership. This is a very, very important factor. I mean, what is so wrong for every Trinidadian to own their own home? What is so wrong? Let the foreigners be the ones renting. And we can create an environment economically, especially where we have an environment that can be robust within the real estate sector, where we have foreigners come in, we issue work permits. I mean, but at the end of the day, we have to say about our own people first where work is concerned, you know, and that is what PP's top priority is that we need to not leave one citizen behind. It's that simple.
Right.
Not leaving one citizen behind. We need to ensure every citizen has the opportunity for work. They have the opportunity to proper health care. I mean, I was looking at something on the net just this morning actually in Canada with their, I think it's like a Medicaid plan where it's a medical package that the citizenry has, all right, by government. And the point of the matter, what they're saying is that it's not about whether you can pay for the service or not. Number one priority for them is to ensure they're able to treat with the problem the person comes in with. First and foremost. If the person doesn't have insurance, well then that falls back into a government program that is able to assist the bank, I'm sorry, not the bank, the hospital with the payments towards whatever it is. But you have to understand, not only that, the Canadian government has stringent rules as far as the cost for medication and so on. Not like here in Trinidad where you have a tablet that you can get for cents. They are charging the citizenry $20, $30, $100 in some cases with certain medication, and people out there, you know that for a fact. And let me tell you, most of this medication does not cost that much, especially if you're buying it in huge quantities, and it's for a nation, for crying out loud. So you can't tell me government is not able to cut a proper deal where we can get something at a low cost that can assist the citizenry in that sense. You know, we already don't have spending power. How are you going to insist on having people constantly be in a deficient position? I mean, think about it. Imbert raised taxes 3 times. The man is supposed to be there to bring betterment to not just the country, but the people, the citizenry of that country. I mean, really? Is this what we vote for? Is this what we're ready for? Trinidad and Tobago? Seriously? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I made the mistake in my past in voting PNM at one point. I made the mistake in the past as well as voting UNC at one point because I was not educated enough. I didn't have the information that was needed for me to make proper decisions. Thank goodness for Edward Alexander, and I keep saying I'm not here to be the man's friend. He brings proposals to the table that make sense and that can work. It's that simple. It's a matter of simply implementing the bloody thing. So at the end of the day, we can't be talking the talk anymore. We need to just simply bloody walk the walk. And the people are the ones to give us the strength to make that walk down the 8-mile walk, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, not just that, but we had, the party had put out the proposal on housing before it was actually put out by the current government. I don't know if anybody realized that, but what they are trying to do now is similar to what the PEP had put out there. And now you have, I think the figure was about 9,000 people have applied under the housing initiative. And if it is that it's 5% being charged by the financial institution, how is that going to help the low-income earners?
Yeah, but at the end of the day...
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, we have to stick with the whole housing thing. People need to have a roof over their head. Children need to know that when they come home from school, they don't have to worry that, you know, the bailiff coming in the morning, right? And this is where I want Kerry to come in now to tell us what are his thoughts on the housing initiative that we have, and to tie it back to the sports and the education, because those 2 elements are critical to a family owning their own home. That is critical.
It is very critical.
Janice and Anthony, and good night again to all the viewers out there. I personally believe, yes, it's all well and good to wanting to own your own home, which is definitely essential, having your own. But communities also build a home, and people don't understand that. It's not just mother and father and brothers and sisters. The communities also help build and establish what we call home. For some people, it's not just a house, it's the community, it's where we live.
Correct.
So when you say you're going home, I'm going home, sometimes it's I'm going home to Pleasantville, I'm going home to Maribel, I'm going home to Maribel.
Yes.
You understand? So I'm going home, you know, and people need to understand that. And this is where, again, I would also say sport will tie into it. I have seen now where we are building communities. And there aren't any outlets, there aren't any areas for the young people, the children, the teenagers, and the young adults to go out there and express themselves athletically. You know, there isn't any places. So we have communities where there aren't any parks.
That's right.
Actually, the communities are built on previous parks that were there before. You know what I'm saying? I've witnessed that where I live. You know, and having these areas brought back into existence will definitely play an important part in not just community development, but in parental hormonal development, and also the development of the individual child, young adult, teenagers. We need to understand it's not, yes, as again I'm saying, it's all about the hormonal owning and all of that tonight, but I always like to go back to the youths, to the young people, you know, the ones that cannot, they're not just get ready to own a home, right? So we have, let's just say I had 16 years old and Andrew, sorry, and I'm 16, and my parents get the opportunity to purchase a HDC. And I now move into a community, and where I was living previously, there was a basketball court, there's a football field. You know what I mean? Places that I can go and let myself loose as a teenage boy. You know, I could go and play football, I could go and play cricket, I could go and play basketball. And now I move into this area, and there is no such outlet, which we see. This is a fact. Right, there aren't areas like these in the current areas that for dwelling. No, and what do I do next? Now you have the guys from across the road, from across the river, from by the way, as they say, they come in with the influential, negative ways. Hey, let's go bust a lime. No problem with lime, you know, but now they influence the teenager, the 15, the 14-year-old to drink alcohol. Right? Now you influence him in certain types of illicit drugs. Where else at exact same time, at 5:30, 6 p.m., 6:30, he would have been on that football field playing football. He would have been on that basketball court playing basketball. You understand? But now he's being influenced elsewhere. Right? Negatively. And this is where I would tie in. So again, I would leave the whole ownership to you both. I now will expand that, okay, to communities, building the community. Okay, owning a home is fine, yes, but how do we build communities? And how do we build a sufficient and a proficient community? It's not just about living in a house. It's not just about walls around us and a roof over our head.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It's about being able now to walk down the street. Janice, a new mother, she just gave birth. A child, let's say it's 3 months old, she would love to push that stroller, not just through the streets in houses and whatnot, but go around the park. At the end of the day, she feels like she's now exercising, so she can put on her exercise clothes, her sneakers, and go push that stroller around the park. You know what I mean? It's not just like, I'm just gonna walk to the community. You know what I mean? She feels as though, which is another big thing.
Yes.
The way you feel mentally affects you.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Work. Some people see work as work, some people see it as exercise, but again, at the end of the day, it's how you see it. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, I always like to put myself in that shoe where the teenagers and the youngsters, because that's where I'm from. I mean, people can say, yes, they say the grades, but I'm a youth. I'm a youth trainer today.
I love you.
They don't see the grades, you know, but I'm a youth, you know, and at the end of the day, I would put myself in that shoe. I would fill that jacket, I would fill that shirt and tie for them, and I will stand in that gap, and I would say, listen, we still need access in our communities where we as young people, whether it be children, whether it be young teenagers and young adults, that we can express ourselves athletically. And just because I use the word athletics doesn't mean that you're going to be the next Usain Bolt or Arthur Golden. It means that it gives people the opportunity to choose. Not everybody's going to be a lawyer.
Correct.
Not everybody's going to be a doctor.
Or engineer.
Or an engineer. Or a pilot. You know what I mean? Some people are going to make Trinidad and Tobago proud at the Olympics. What are we doing to create that opportunity? And it starts within the community. When a child can run as fast as he can run, that's well and good. But when you see he can run as fast as he can run with the whole community backing him, trust me, there's a difference. That child is going to break records.
I like that.
That child is going to push on because he has the support.
I like
understand?
that.
And this is why I always tell people sport is important.
Yeah.
They can say what they want, but sport in communities and developing the community is very important.
But remember, I was, one of the things you just said sort of made a note with me. When you were saying, you know, the other guys came and gave peer pressure.
Yes.
To veer him away from the sporting activities and so on, right? Now, again, this has to be a several-pronged effect. Because the several things has to be addressed all at the same time. Because again, it's a matter of securing the borders, where we don't have drugs and guns and anything negative coming into the country. We have a level of control on that, which means now we can have a specific number set on the island that we can now get rid of and eliminate.
Right.
Where we know we don't have anything fresh coming in to compound that and to compile on top of that, and you know what I mean? So, again, it's several pronged, because once we can have control over the drugs, guns, and so on, then now we try to have greater control over the gangs and the negative elements on the island. Because now we have a controlled environment, right? So, and at the same time, you're also trying to bring employment for the population, because that is a key element. We have to find mechanisms and ways in how we able to now bring the TT dollar with more value. Because if we can get the dollar having more value, it means that product would cost less. The cost of living is going to go up. There's going to be a several downstream effect that's going to take place just from that alone.
Yeah, but I think despite all of that, when communities are being built out, because you know with this housing initiative being put on by the government, I mean, are they really looking at where people are getting the land to buy, to put up their homes? Are they also taking into consideration, okay, we have 2 people want to live here, another one comes. What are they doing in terms of carving out a piece of the land to put up some sort of recreational park? A basketball here, a football field here.
I mean,
because it's one thing to say, yes, we want to stop the guns and we want to stop the drugs. That's all fine. But you still need the football fields. You still need the basketball.
No, of course.
Areas, and you need parks.
Of course.
Right? So that is the main thing that, you know, in terms of when you're setting up a community, You're not just throwing people just anywhere. There must be some form of structure that's going to
But
be put in place.
aside from the football fields and parks and so on, they're supposed to have a police depot in that community. They're
That's
supposed
right.
to have a little health center in that community.
Correct.
A fire station depot at least.
Mhm.
Or even if it's not a fire station depot, something that can address small issues along those lines. We can rename or revamp or find some other structure towards that. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? There's a lot of work that we have to do. Because again, like Philip says, it's a matter of undo and redo. And there's no stone must be left untouched.
I totally agree with you because, again, people think housing is just that. You're living in a house. And it's not that. People of Trinidad and Tobago, as you rightfully said, the fire service depot, policing depot. Again, housing goes back to community. It's a big word. It's general. It's not selective.
Correct.
And we're looking at, if it is, I purchase a home in a certain area, and I'm sticking to what it is you said now, I'm leaning towards you, what you just said, which is true, and also what you just said. And I own a home, and my neighbor owns that home, and 3-4 of us own that home. At the end of the day, if none of us are trained to properly put out a fire, what's going to happen? If none of us are properly trained to deal with emergencies such as criminal activity in that area, what's going to happen?
Right.
So it goes back to proper planning about when you're going to establish a community. And I don't want to say homes, a community. Let's use that word. Yes, a community. Right? Because when it is we are going to plan and establish a community, we need to take everything into that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
We need, okay, so how far is the fire station from this area that we're gonna launch as a community development? How far is the police station? You know what I mean? There are HDC developmental areas in Trinidad and Tobago that is miles away from the closest or nearest medical facility. Also, police and as you said, depot. I don't want to go just to not agree with you too much. In the sense, no, because we can agree to disagree as also. We can agree, that's right.
Yeah.
I depot, it's not suffice. It does not suffice where community is being developed. We need to have a police station there. We need to have an area where people can properly come and launch a complaint, an area where people can definitely feel safe. As listen, I make a phone call here, I am going to have some sort of address. So 2 o'clock in the morning, I make a phone call, listen, I don't feel safe there. I think there's someone trying to break into my home. They need to have positive and therefore really believe that, listen, their cries are going to be answered. A jeep, a police vehicle, some sort of individual is going to show up there that is certified to deal with that situation, is going to show up there at their home. They will just get a phone call, okay, well, we're going to transfer you to Barrackpore, we're going to transfer you to San Fernando CID.
That's with the present
that's with the present situation that's right now. We need to deal with that.
Under PEP system, that will be
abolished. It's going to be non-existent. You're only hearing that. It's going to be abolished.
That is a fact. The madness that we call laws in a country to govern people, as we know today, listen, it's a total revamp that needs to take place. We need to scrutinize everything. We need to go back, like Philip says, to the Constitution. Go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and bring our civilization, our country to the 21st century.
You know what I find? They're making this thing look so hard.
And it's making it so easy.
And it can be so
Who's
easy.
making it so hard to do? The other sides.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Because they wanted to see. That's propaganda and the false information they're giving to the population to make it seem as if they are God gift to us. When in reality you can get your little son, you get your child and put them in parliament and see how much better work they would do than the damn jokers we have inside of there. And this is what I'm saying. People, listen, we have a meeting at Chaguanas on Saturday, you all come out.
Come out.
And hear the proposals, meet the people, meet the executives. They have your ideas, you have the forum there to have it said. Your voice will be heard. We need to change the dynamics of Trinidad and Tobago now. Again, enough talk. We have gotten the ball rolling. The PEP has created the platform for the people's voice to be heard. Everything is being documented and archived. And at the end of the day, we are going to make this happen, you know. It's happening. Trinidad and Tobago is happening, but it can't happen without you. You are the key element here. You know what I mean? And it's not a betterment for us, it's all a betterment for you. Again, one of the first things that the party plans to put into place is recall, we will be the first ones that's exposed to this bloody law. So you as the population have anybody within the PEP if you choose. And that is your prerogative. It will be your right as a citizen of this country. So at the end of the day, we want systems to be in place where there's proper transparency, proper accountability. So this way people can live civilized, people can have a reason and to be proud, to listen, really, Trinidad and Tobago. Come on now, man. I mean, I know we're supposed to be talking about home ownership and so on. And listen, again, the PEP initiative for home ownership is for minimum wage earners to be able to be qualified for a starter home. And in our minds, we think that's going to change a large dynamic in the mental state of the population at large. Because if you have CPAP workers that is able to acquire a home versus having to rent a house, I mean, I'm talking about a Mickey Mouse home, like what they're so-called building with what they've built so far. I call them the ice cream houses. Listen, we have smart enough people in this country. We have smart enough engineers. We have people who can create, invent, and refabricate stuff that can last 1,000,000 years. And again, I keep saying Trinidadians are always at the top of their game when they're out there in a first world country and they have all the tools available to them. If we as a government were able to give the population the tools that they need, I strongly believe, and I would put my head on the block, that every Trinidadian will strive, every Trinidadian will gain the goals that they seek. And that is what we are saying here at the PEP. We need your support, Trinidad and Tobago. We want all the Trinidadians that fly and go America, England, and all over the world to restart their life because they realize that Trinidad was not a place they wanted to raise their family. We want to bring them back home. We want to bring everyone back home. Let Trinidad be a place that people have to get a visa to come here. This is supposed to be the diamond of the planet. And we're just pissing it away. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry I'm ranting and raving here. It's just that, you know, I get so
passionate.
It's so emotional because at the end of the day, listen, we here have seen where it can be fixed.
Let me give an example, because this is something I was drawing to someone's attention the other day. For those of us who belong to a credit union, who owns the credit union? Not the members. Once a year there is an AGM. And the AGM, and at that AGM, members, they vote in their board of directors, they vote in the credit committee, they vote in the supervisory committee. They are all members of the credit union. The supervisory committee is in charge of auditing the credit union to make sure that the management is doing what it's supposed to be doing. The board of directors, the same thing, as well, and the credit union, the credit committee, sorry, they're the ones that approve the loans. So I said, okay, so you have a credit union which belongs to the members. In the same way as Trinidad and Tobago belong to the citizens. Every 5 years, like an AGM, there are elections. And you vote in your government to run the country. The same way the members vote in the credit committee, the supervisory, and the board of directors. So, you know, for those of you who not seeing the vision as yet, take it as though you are in a credit union. Because at the end of the day, it's your money that you are putting into the credit union, and it is your money that is managing the whole structure and how it operates. A good credit union, you see it from their financials every year, when they can afford to pay dividends to their members. Why is it we are not getting a dividends from our government that we put to manage the country? So this is something that you can sit down and think about, especially those of you who I know belong to a credit union. Because right now, and I will sit up in an hour, because we ain't getting from the bank, so we will get from a credit union. Okay, so think about it. If you cannot see the vision, think about it along the lines as how a credit union operates. Okay?
So yes, Kerry, I'm sorry I just went on there, bro. Again,
I'm passionate right now, and I think right now this is exactly what we need. We need the passion to come out.
Yes.
The passion that will come out and express how we duly feel about the status of Trinidad and Tobago, and how we can definitely make change, bring about change in this country.
That's right.
I mean, there isn't much that I can add to what he just said. It was like my first video that put me up there, and he was passionate about what he's saying, and it's the same thing. People are trying to, you all need to understand something. Right now, we are in that phase, we are in that stage where it's do or die. We are in the jungle. It's either live or let live. And I am fed up. I am totally and utterly fed up of hearing the word survive. We as Tobagonians, Trinidadian, Trinbagonians, we should not be surviving, and I've been saying this for the last 2-3 years now. We should not be surviving. We all should be living. Correct. We have too much resources here in this land of ours that we should be surviving. Nobody here should be living under the poverty line. Nobody. Zero.
That's right.
There is enough. But because of previous management, mismanagement, correct? Sorry, but I was to kind of make it sink in. The people before who were managing this country, they were not doing a good job. They won't. And now for me to see friends of mine that had good jobs that were laid off because the companies are no longer to stay afloat. They can't pay salaries, they can't pay the benefits. And they are now asking me, Kerry, how can you help me getting a job? How can you help me making ends meet? It hurts me, it pains me as a Trinbagonian to see where we are. We have people that have been working for years in the energy sector, and I'm straying a little bit, I know. Working for years in the energy sector, and right now these people are out of a job. These people, their homes are on the line of being seized. These people, their vehicles are being on the line of being seized because they can't make their mortgages. And people are trying to go, you all need to understand something. We need to move away from tribal voting. We need to move away from tribal politics. Because I can tell you flat out, I see both vagrant, all vagrants. When you look on the street, you see black, you see Indian, people. If you go properly in San Fernando, you're going to see a Chinese vagrant, because one of them asked me the other day for $5. You understand? Listen, homelessness and destituteness has nothing to do with race. It has to do with the economical value that this person is receiving back from what it is we call a nation. And we need to understand, if it is we cannot provide for these people, how do you think it's going to affect us eventually? The amount, he mentioned something before, our people that are empowered and actually can bring value to the country is moving away. There's a big and there's a vast brain drain in Trinidad and Tobago that is starting to affect us now.
Yes.
It is affecting us now. Why? Because there is no incentive. There is nothing in place to keep our qualified and certified and brilliance here in Trinidad and Tobago. Why is this? We believe that we have to go abroad to excel. Why is it? And we can do it right here.
With the right government.
Wow, you hear what Janice is saying, with the right people at the helm. People of Trinidad and Tobago, we can be there. We can do that. We can build these skyscrapers. We can build the future. We can build flying cars. We can do it. We are the engineers right here in Trinidad and Tobago. But it's because of our people that are in power now, and then they make us believe that we have to go abroad to seek medical attention. We have brilliant doctors here.
Yes.
We have brilliant lawyers here. We have brilliant scientists here. But why it is we have that enslaved culture that we have to go abroad and be under the what we call the European, and that we believe then, because I'm going to say this, I'm going to be the one to say it.
Preach it.
If it is, we believe that we have to hear the words from a white man that say, hey, you are worth value, then we believe we are valuable.
Tell me this.
People of Trinidad and Tobago, I'm telling you now, we are valuable. We are special. And you all need to understand this in ourselves. Until we learn to love ourselves and believe in ourselves, and until we have a government that can show you, listen, we believe that you are valuable, you are an asset. And that's the other thing, we don't have people in place that are in power right now, that encourages us, that empowers us and makes us feel that we are an asset. You know what? People have that. Listen. I mean, Janice. Leave me alone tonight. Hey,
that is.
I fed off his energy because I absolutely do understand where he's coming from. Where's Janice? I believe I understand where we as a minority are. When I say minority, you see people and them in power, they are the majority. Everybody else is minority as far as I'm concerned. Because if it is you have somebody that can stand up and say, listen, we need to buy least expensive cars, smaller cars, but yet still they can go tomorrow and walk into a showroom and buy an excess, and then you want to turn around and tell me that I could buy a Tida or an Almera and tell me drive that, but when you see them on the road, they're driving an X6, they're driving a Q7 or a Q8, Mustang. People of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to understand, it is do as I say and not as I do, and I don't like that.
Yes, brother.
Listen, it needs to be across the board or not at all. You know what I'm telling you? We need to understand that our people that are leading us, they need to lead by example.
That's right.
And if they cannot do so, vote them out. You know what I'm telling you? People are telling me, vote them out.
Round of applause for that one day. Vote them out. That's right. That's right.
Get them out of power.
That's right. You win. You win. You absolutely
People
win.
need to get up and be and express their passion.
They have to
Get up.
It's not a matter of expressing passion, you know.
No, when I say express passion, I mean the way how Kerry expresses himself.
Of course.
They have to be able to, and not just say, I really would like to get a girl, but no. They have to be passionate about what it is they want and what it is they want to see for this country.
The people to move this country forward are to be the passionate ones. But the people who empower the people with the passion is the ones that see us all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
The 1.3 or 1.5 million of us, at the end of the day, is for our betterment as a whole, not a selected few, not for the Indians or for the Africans or the Syrians or the Chinese or anybody. You name Trinbagonian, you are a beneficiary of this land. That's the bottom line. You're supposed to have the best education, the best healthcare, the best security for your family, for your home, the best opportunity for work and to make money, to evolve and grow yourself. I mean, listen, Trinidadians deserve no less than the best.
You know,
That's the bottom line.
we should really start thinking like how the Marines think. Not a man to be left behind.
Not a man to be left behind.
That is how
Correct.
they think.
Correct.
And we as a nation need to start thinking like that. We need to be looking out for everybody.
That's right.
Not just for a select few.
No, but you have government talking about they don't have money. Every administration that come in always cry and bawl down the place. Oh, the last administration, empty the treasury. They don't have money. Is this, is that, and the other. We never have money to do this, that, and the other. But you could always find all of a sudden these mega projects come out of nowhere. All these different things that you just have these exorbitant costs, a $2 million bloody flag, a $10 million walkover. Really? We just refurbished a stadium for $90 million that was carried to be only a couple of $100,000, I think it was $200,000 or $300,000. It went crossing over $1 billion. You have a hospital in Tobago that was built at a certain cost that overran itself nearly tenfold. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and bloody well on for every goddamn administration. I mean, when is it going to come to an end? When are we going to just say, here what? If we didn't have the level of hemorrhaging, guess what? Every Trinidadian could have been a millionaire today. Every born Trinidadian could have been a millionaire by the state today had we had no hemorrhaging in our economy and we were able to have a hedge fund of sorts. I keep saying, as a citizen of Trinidad, we should have a fund of sorts. When you're born, the government take, if it's a $100,000 bond or $1 million bond, and put it in a special fund where now you have the government that's investing in its population. That fund basically is going to help that said citizen, because we have our own stock exchange. If we have educated people who know of how to micromanage these portfolios and so on within the stock exchange, we have our local stock exchange. Invest specials, I don't know, something where you can deposit these bonds into it, gain interest on it as the years go by. Because remember, if we're going to be retiring at 60, that is a 60 years.
Well, I don't think that we're going to be retiring at 60 again.
No, but hold on. I know they were saying that they want to push it to 65 and all this madness again. Madness! And we saying it's okay.
Well, no, the thing about it is the NIS fund has been mismanaged. That is the problem, you know. It has been mismanaged.
Why?
So now there's no, what they're saying is that, you know, the money is not going to be, we're going to be running out of money by a certain period.
So we didn't have educated enough people to micromanage that portfolio to ensure that we had always a plus versus a minus. We didn't have anybody to put in a position or to hold that portfolio in who knows what the hell they're doing from. All right, if a man holding a portfolio and guess what? He there for personality, at least give the man a bloody board of people that know what they asked to do and say, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak French here tonight.
We're passionate tonight, people. We're passionate tonight.
I don't mean to speak French tonight, but it is Thursday and I want things, Mr. Alexander had sanctioned us, you know. But anyway, but you know, the point to that I'm just trying to make before I just want to wrap up real quick on my end. At the end of the day, if we have everything done where the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, we can have so much excess of monies to do so many things, all right? And we're not going to cry over spilt milk of the 55 years gone by and the 11 administrations that jam us well, all right? We're not going to talk about, we're not going to dwell on that. Guess what, Trinidad and Tobago? Let's dwell on the future. What's the possibilities? What we can actually do as a nation, as a people, united. One people, forget who's Indian and who's African and who's what now, man. We are Trinidadian, Trinbagonian. This is our soil. We are several generations down the road. Our ancestors' home is India and Africa. All right, good for them. But guess what? We are here. Our navel string are here. This is the land we need to fight for. This is the land that we need to make perfect. Even for the ones that we don't like, we still want to make it perfect for them too. My point is, Trinidad and Tobago, Saturday, we in Chabonas. Come down the road now. Come down, have your voice heard. Let's make this happen. And just to touch on our actual topic tonight, because I know we've gone way overboard tonight, but again, it's just so much information, so much that, because everything is tied in, you know, no matter what topic you come with, there's always so many other things that ties into that topic, and all those other things is the mayhem of this country. Everything is broken. So we're on a mission to have this fixed, but my point is, having home ownership for the minimum wage earner will be a plus in the society. And it's not to say we're just going to be giving homes away. The point is that it's a holistic model. There's several different prongs that's attached to that, where we have to address to ensure people have secure jobs, and they have jobs available to get to ensure that they can pay for their home.
That's correct.
You understand?
That is correct.
And as well as having to retrain our population, retrain them for the 21st century. There's so much technology, even in education. I mean, for crying out loud. Let me tell you, I have seen my daughter carry a book bag with almost 100 pounds of books. Why? There's a tablet. You can have something like a flash drive. I mean, you know, the UNC had it was UNC that did the laptops, and as far as I understand, those were discontinued.
Yeah.
And again, why? Who discontinued that? The PNM, yes?
Yeah.
The PNM.
It's not it.
Makes no sense. It just makes no sense, because we insist on going back to the 1800s versus having to go towards the 21st century and beyond.
And there's somebody in the PNM say, hey, no more cell phones in the school, why?
It don't make sense.
Hey, listen, people of Trinidad and Tobago, you all need to understand something, and I speak it plain, I speak it clear. I am a man that is on the ground. I march with the foot soldiers. I am not one of them generals that is sitting upstairs in our office and talk and issue orders. If it is I issue an order to go there and fight, trust me, I had the front, I had the helm, I'm moving with my team. Let me tell you something. It is time we change this country now. Let us not wait for tomorrow. Let us not wait till next year. Let us not wait till the next time to vote, next time the election year. We need to start changing and changing it now. We are all being affected. We are all being seriously affected by what is going on now. The decisions that are being made, we can see it. We all sit in the rum shops. We all sit on work. We all sit in our living rooms and over the dinner tables and the lunch tables, and we talk about it on the block. Hey, what is this man doing, boy? What it is he doing, boy? And everybody talking about Vicky. Hey, we all just talk. It is time we start doing something. We need to start doing something. No, Trinidadians. Right. No, Trinbagonians. We need to start doing. We need to stop talking and start putting things in action. And I'm telling you guys, right now I'm sitting here with two people of integrity. Listen, as the man rightfully says, he said, some people, not everybody ain't gonna like Philip, you know. But at the end of the day, people, look at the policies, look at the measures that we are willing to implement for you, for change. Look at that. It is about the bigger picture. It's about the holistic picture. Trinbagonians, people of Trinidad and Tobago, I have sat for too far long wondering and wishing for something new to come along. And let me tell you all something. It's not by chance I am sitting here today. It is not by, hey, I see them and I like them. It is not about that. It is because I have reviewed, I have listened, I have understood what it is going on here with the PEP, and I believe that it is about genuine change for us as a people. Otherwise, I would not be here. People who know me, people who know Kerry Grant, they know I ain't easy. And you all know I say it as it is. Who vex, loss. We need just to rise up. And when I say rise up, people, it's not in violence. Yeah. Not in violence. My brethren and them in Mova and in Beatam and in Lamantel, brothers, I'm not all here. I have love for you, I have respect for you. But here what's going on, fellas. All you want something? Talk to us. talk to us. There's going to be a community drive in your area soon. I want leaders to come and sit down and talk to us. Because it's, as my boy rightfully says, information is key. Without the right information, and I am a grassroots man. Yeah. Talk to me. Talk to me. Give Janice a call, man. We will sit down and listen to you. Let us open those lines of communication where we can start understanding each other. And let us then know also people are trying to be, we need to learn to agree to disagree. And as long as we can be mature enough to understand that, then we can really start bringing about rightful and proper maturity. Listen, change in a way of maturity. We can understand what it's about and we can understand each other. Today we don't know why it went this way, Janice. Listen, I just always listen. God leads. God leads in mysterious ways. My mother always used to say that. Yeah. We don't know how it went, so we come to talk about one thing. Yeah. To hell with this paper tonight. To hell with this paper tonight. But listen.
Hard work.
But you see again, it's just because there's so much.
It's so much.
There's nothing that works. In fact, there's one thing in Trinidad and Tobago that works. The only one thing, which is Eureka.
But I just see him looking at me that now.
Is Eureka?
Yeah.
That is it.
You working right now.
That is it. There's nothing else of substance that
you looking at me. Hey, where Pop? Hey, where Pop?
It's like, but you know, if all the other systems could work as efficient as Eureka, we would be okay.
Yeah. Janice, I'm going to hear you now. All what we have said so far. Let's hear what you have.
I know we went a little off course, but
let's hear that.
From what has been said, what's your take on it?
It makes a lot of sense, and I think that the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago need to pay attention, start to question, start to voice their opinions, and to stand up. I know that there is the talk about, oh, you can't stand up because you're involved in this or your family involved in that, it will affect them. Okay, but at least still stand up and say something. I know if anybody had told me I was going to be sitting down at that table with two handsome men talking about politics, I would have told them they're talking nonsense.
I'll leave that one alone.
Right, but I looked at what was going on. I said no, because when I reach the age 80, 85, I'm going to be struggling. I will have to, life is going to be a struggle in Trinidad and Tobago, and I do not want that. I don't have anywhere to go. I have no family abroad to say, okay, don't worry, sell the house or rent out the house and come up the road. We will support you until you get yourself on your feet, right? I don't have that. I have to stay here and fight it out. And the thing about it is, I'm prepared to stand up and say what I have to say. In my family, I have a family member who is PNM, another family member who has his own political party. And so discussions at the dining table are very
diverse.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right? So I have made that decision. But before we get, as we're coming to a close of the segment, there are a couple of things I need to address. Okay? The first thing is our Shogunist meeting this Saturday. So I'm inviting all members, please bring your family, bring your friends. You can even bring your children to the meeting, because we are going to be making sure we have things happening for the kids. Starting at this Saturday, 12 noon, at the South Auditorium, Center Point Mall, Ramsaran Street, Shogunist. Come and add your voice to the frank and open discussion and express your opinion. And you're not going to be cried down or anything like that at all, because every opinion counts. We the people are the members of the PEP. We the members are going to be the ones trying to ensure that our policies are put into being, and that we follow through on them. And that we make this country a place that should be a paradise. We have some dynamic speakers lined up as well, who are members of the party, and also we have the Job Seekers Initiative, which is headed by Sarah Nabi and her team. They are going to be at the South Auditorium from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. talking to you about the initiative. And if you're looking for a job and serious about working and earning your money, then come down to the mall. You can sign up as well. Bring your resume, right? So Sarah is going to be handling that part of the initiative. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is when you come, don't just come to sit down and listen. Come with a plan of action. Say what you have to say. We are encouraging our members and their friends and families to become volunteers. Our team is made up of vibrant, like-minded individuals whose collective goal is to contribute to the advancement and betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. We always welcome volunteers and patriots alike who are willing to serve on any of the committees, teams that include the National Executive, the Constituency Executive, the Constituency Representative, Youth Arm, Women's Arm, Security Team, and Event Committee. So why would you say, you would ask, why do I have to volunteer? We, the people of, the members of the Progressive Empowerment Party, the party is different from any other party that has emerged in the past decade. Not only in its principles, but also the fact that we are mainly comprised of ordinary citizenry. We're not, some of us are not businessmen. A lot of us have 8 to 4 jobs. We're working for somebody else. So we're just like you. We believe that citizens should have a say in how they are governed. So we invite all of you to come and volunteer, give of your time and service within our organization and help advance the vision and statement of the PEP. After Saturday, we go back to having the meetings here at 19 Stanmore Avenue, Port of Spain. And again, you get to meet the executive, you get to come and ask questions, voice your opinions, and it's all about the fact that the party, we really do care about the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So as we close, I'm going to get my 2 handsome guests.
Thank you.
Just to at least say one final thing before we go. Anthony.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago, again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And Mr. Grant, it is a phenomenal pleasure as usual having you on the panel.
Yes.
And, you know, I hope there will be a point that you could probably be a more permanent fixture in the mix of things.
I will be.
Most definitely.
But again, Trinidad and Tobago, we are going to be in Chaguanas on Saturday, and certainly it's an opportunity for you to at least meet the executive and know who's a part of this party and trying to make motion and create waves to forge us forward for a better country. So if you do have the opportunity, please tell your friends, tell your family, your neighbors, even your foes, bring them down the road. Let them come and hear for themselves. You know, I'm not going to try to convince you of anything. You come, see for yourself, know for yourself. Don't have anybody spoon feed you. You know what I mean? You know for yourself. That's the bottom line. Come and see and realize that this is real. This is real stuff. It's not no show. This is not a movie. There's no end game here. The only end game is a better country, and that's just what we're forging for. That's it. Mr. Grant?
Again, Trinidad and Tobago. I love you guys. I love being here. I love being a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. And Janice. I love it. Let us all regain that. I know a lot of us are crying, a lot of us are hoping, a lot of us are wishing. But I want you guys to know, my grandmother always used to say this, and I'm sure you probably said the same thing. Behind every dark cloud is a silver lining. And people of Trinidad and Tobago, I want to let you know, it's not always going to be this dismal. it's not always going to be this cloudy. It's not always going to be this stormy. The clouds will roll back. The sun will shine. Hear what I'm telling you? The sun will shine. And that sun, when it does shine and when it does rise in the heavens above, I want you all to be standing there, ready and armed to fight for this nation, for this great country of Trinidad and Tobago. I want you all to be standing there together. I want my Indian brothers, my Chinese brothers, my Syrian brothers and sisters. I want every human being on this planet that has ever been born, that is living in Trinidad and Tobago, to become one and for us to stand up and say, together we aspire, together we achieve.
Yes, man.
That's all I have to say, people of Trinidad and Tobago. Because we cannot do it alone. We can only do it how?
Together.
One last thing before we go, I would like to say that for those members who live in the communities and even the constituencies, if you believe that you can bring to the, come out and say what you think should be going on in your community for the betterment of the community, we need for you to come out this Saturday, Shabonas, and say your piece. Just say your piece, get it out, because we are going to be listening to you. So we would like to acknowledge all of you tonight for listening and viewing. And to those of you who are on the road, please be safe. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good one, folks.